Hey folks, Post here, welcome back to another Poem Masters video, and tonight we have a banger dropping, right? In terms of banners, and that's going to be the Steven and Cynthia Dual Pokefair, which is the first Dual Pokefair we've ever had, right? I think. So, that's gonna be nice. They're both gonna get their 6-star EX, as well, right? And that's very, very, very good for one of them, not that great for the other. But they all look really good, right? Cynthia does remind me, give me some like vanilla ice cream vibes for some reason, and Steven looks great as well. So that's gonna happen. But if you're wondering, personally, I'm not gonna be summoning on that banner because I already, have them 3 out of 5 at least, right? So I'm not gonna personally worry about that. But for those of you who are, good luck, right? So let's talk about these. So, first of all, are these units good? Yes, they are extremely, 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 extremely good, right? Both are easily, still top 5 strikers in the game, right? And Metagross probably is still the best, right? All around, offensively and defensively. Metagross is just an absolute monster, right? And Garchomp is still good too as well. Even though, again, I did mention the other day about 6-star EX not really benefiting, Garchomp as much, right, as some other strikers, but Garchomp is still, it's still Garchomp, right? Garchomp still does like 10 billion damage on an Earthquake and Sandstorm with like Surging Sand 5, right? So, anyways, that being said, let's talk about these. So, starting with Metagross, right? So, reason why Metagross is so good is that Metagross has like a lot of fantastic upsides, right? First of all, if you want to check out its stats is to start, right? Not the best HP, that's for sure, right? Fantastic defense, and good special defense as well, right? And not that great speed and very, very, very high attack, almost 400 attack, which is crazy. Right, and then once you mega, it gets even crazier, right? You get 473 attack, 192 defense, right? 188 special defense. So most megas, when they mega, they only get like stat increases in like 2 stats. Metagross gets stat increases in 3 stats, right? That being, attack, defense, and special defense, right? So yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. As for the moves, right? Before you mega Meteor Mash kind of whatever. You got X attack, which is X attack. Iron Head, moderate chance of flinching the target, right? Which is amazing. And then you got Best There Is, which raises defense, guaranteed crit. And then if it's mega, Metagross has extra endurance. The weakness on Metagross is kind of just like the trainer move. It's not the best. It's not bad either, but it's not anything amazing. Yeah, it could be situationally good, right? If you're running like a Haymaker on Metagross and you're going for like guaranteed crit on the on your sync move, right? Okay, go for that. But otherwise, it's not fantastic, right? And then Solid Steel Meteor Mash. It doesn't do anything except turn you into Mega Metagross. The other weakness is the passive's not that great. Power Chain 3, it's only good, you can only even activate in co-op, it doesn't even work in single player. But Impervious is fantastic, right? So, once you mega, you replace Meteor Mash with Bullet Punch, which is a quick move, which is generally, helpful, because, speed's not the best, right? So, here's where Metagross becomes good, because if you're looking at, like, Metagross at base, it kind of seems whatever, right? I mean, the movesets are, except for like Iron Head, which is again fantastic. Everything else is kind of whatever. The passives aren't all that, right? Where Metagross gets very, very good is the Sync Grid, right? The Sync Grid makes Metagross just an absolute monster. There isn't a single legendary arena Metagross can't auto. This guy can auto all the legendary arenas. And here's why, because of the Sync Grid. The Sync Grid's fantastic. So, a lot of very, very, very powerful nodes on here, right? The first one, the big one, Iron Head Aggravation, increases your chance to flinch on already very, very, very high chance to flinch, right? So, and this is why, Metagross is overall so great, right? Because it does good damage offensively, and defensively it's fantastic as well, right? So when the opponent can't attack, you're not taking any damage, right? And obviously that's great. On top of other stuff, you got Recuperation 2. Every time you sync, you get HP back, right? And you also have Haymaker. So Iron Head Aggravation, Haymaker, Recuperation 2 makes Metagross an absolute monster. This just is like these three are like all three of these are top tier sync grids, sync grid tiles, and he got like three of them, right? Which is amazing. As for some other stuff, you also have stuff like Bullet Punch, Eagle Eye, right? If you don't have like crit buffer, you could use that. There's some Meteor Mash stuff, which is kind of whatever in my opinion. I got Force Field 1, 20% chance of raising the special defense for your whole team. Situationally useful, right? Natural Remedy is always good, but not that much because you're not, because you're a striker. Soak 2 is fantastic, right? Everything else is kind of, but like it's just these three just make this thing an absolute monster, and one of the reasons again why 3 out of 5 Metagross could easily just solo auto, not solo auto. He could solo a few though, but yeah, why this thing could like just auto legendary arenas, right? Which I don't think any other striker in the game does, right? Not even Ice Steven or Charizard, right? So this thing's fantastic, right? And it's 100% worth getting. It's 100% worth getting. It is hard to use though. It is a bit harder to use than most strikers in the game, right? But it's a sort of slightly higher skill cap unit in comparison to stuff like say a Garchomp or I guess what's another good example, Garchomp or Pheromosa or Charizard, right? Those are pretty straightforward. Steven a bit tougher because you gotta, among other things, it's something that you have to like sort of learn in terms of opponent attack patterns, where you're gonna land the Iron Head, right, to maximize your flinch time, right, all that stuff. But once you do that, this thing is an absolute monster. Again, I think you guys know how good it is. I don't need to say it anymore, right? So that's Metagross. Fantastic, right? And then moving on to Garchomp, which is also really good. Garchomp, all right, let's check out like its base kit first, right? Garchomp has amazing stats. Garchomp stats are just like wow, right? So you have good HP, 561 HP, 341 attack, 140 something on both defenses, and 334 in speed. So this thing is very, very, very fast, right? On top of that, it has some other speed boosting mechanics, which we'll talk about in a second as well. And then once you mega it, right, 409 attack, right, 177 defense. So yeah, this thing is really, really good. So before you mega, you got Stomping Tantrum, which is basically you never use Stomping Tantrum. X attack is X attack, Earthquake is Earthquake, right? Earthquake, 100% accuracy, huge, damage, right? Doesn't do anything else. Physical, ground, all that stuff. And then this match is Too Fun, which is a great training move as well. +1 for speed and crit, and in Sandstorm it's going to be +2 speed and +2 crit, and you will always be running Garchomp in Sandstorm, right? So you'll always be getting, the max, at least max crit, right? As for some other stuff, sync move, it's pretty standard, mega sync move, low base power, and then you mega, right? As for the passives, you got Fast Track 2, moderate, 30% chance of raising speed after he uses a move, which is fantastic, right? And then Surging Sand 5 powers up moves in a Sandstorm by 50%. Surging Sand 5 is just incredible, right? So after you mega, you lose Stomping Tantrum for Slash, which is also not very useful, right? So just ignore that, right? And then you get Ground Shift, which is for Slash. You don't really get anything, moveset and passive wise when you mega, right? It's just mainly for the stats, right? Mainly for the stats. So, yeah, without Sync Grid, like Garchomp is already an absolute monster, right? Especially again when you run it in Sandstorm, this thing hits incredibly hard, This thing hits incredibly hard. Like even on like non-super effective opponents, it could easily deal like 10,000 damage per Earthquake, right? And because Earthquake is an AoE move, you get that extra 50% multiplier when there's like 3 opponents, right? You do, instead of like doing the regular, 120, you get an extra 150% on that, right? Which is fantastic. So moving on to the Synchro. The Synchro is amazing, right? The Synchro is absolutely amazing. So you got some top tier multipliers, right? You got Surging Sand 3, bringing the Surging Sand up to 8, so extra 80% in Sandstorm. Then you got Ramming Speed, which is extra 30% once you max out your speed, which you have Fast Track, right? You boost your speed on your trainer move, and then you have a 30% chance to increase your speed, by 1 every time you use a move. So that gets you what? 210% over there, right? It's insane. This thing is absolutely insane, just in terms of damage, right? Metagross doesn't do as much damage per like regular move in comparison to Garchomp. Obviously, Metagross is much better in terms of sustainability, all that stuff, right? Which is why in my opinion, Metagross is generally better. But Garchomp is just damage. This thing does damage, is fast, right? Good defenses too, right? And all that. So yeah, like this is just insane multipliers, right? And it's not like your like attack stats bad or anything. Like you have like a base 400 attack when you mega. So yeah, Sand Shelter obviously, because you don't want to get hurt by sand, because that would be kind of weird if you do. Soothing Sand, heal every time in sand, or get Sand Screen, which is an extra 50% special defense in Sandstorm if you're facing any special opponents, right? Extra 50% on that. There are some, as most grids, there's some things that aren't extremely useful. Stuff like build up, whatever, right? Sharp entry. I mean, it's not like incredibly useless, but like for 10 energy, are you really gonna pick that up? Probably not, right? Especially from Propulsion 3 is kind of whatever as well. And Propulsion is just overall not that. I mean, it's okay, I guess. Whatever. There's some Slash stuff, Stomping Tantrum stuff, which are actually really good. Like Stomping Tantrum Defense Crush 4 is actually really good, but you just never use it because Earthquake is just so incredibly powerful, right? Sands of Time too. So like you quickly faster move gauge regen in Sandstorm as well. So like you could legitimately run Acerola, and here's the other thing with Garchomp. It's not like, oh, you have to run Garchomp in Sandstorm and that's bad. No, Acerola is amazing, right? Acerola, like outside of like just Sandstorm, she is like insanely good as well, right? Palossand, because she has Aggravation on Astonish, being one of the highest flinchers in the game. Well, the highest is Lycanroc, Kukui's Lycanroc, but still like extremely high on the flinch as well, right? And like, yeah, this thing is also amazing. It's like people always, oh, you have to run it with Palossand. No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Running it with Palossand is a good thing. It's so good, right? And Palossand also, gives you Flag Bearer, raises attack every time you use Sandstorm, right? So you don't even need anything else. You don't need a support. You don't need any offensive support for Garchomp as well. Just Garchomp plus Palossand, and you'll have +3 crit, +6 attack. And then, Palossand also gives you Focus Group, 50% chance of increasing Garchomp's crit as well, right? So like you really don't need any. Your third unit could just straight up just be a tank, right? A full like defensive support or whatever. Or like if you want to even go crazier, run like Olivian Lycanroc. Like that amount of damage output per turn is just gonna be like absolutely bonkers, right? Right, something like that. Let's get back to Garchomp. Where is Garchomp? Garchomp, there's Garchomp, right? So fantastic all around, right? Like her damage calc is just over the top, right? It's pretty insane. And I think folks get it by now, right? So, as for the 6-star EXs, right? Here's the thing. First of all, the 6-star EXs look fantastic. Like they're an upgrade for anyone. However, not so much for Garchomp, because Garchomp, once you use your first sync to get to Mega, you almost never want to sync with Garchomp again, because Garchomp's Sync move just does no damage in comparison to Garchomp's Earthquake. It's much, much better for you to sync with like Palossand or like your other support or whatever. It's much better to use their Sync move than use Garchomp's Sync move, right? Because it's much better just to queue up another Earthquake instead, because Earthquake, again, just does like, it's just an absolute nuke, right, in Sandstorm. So, the unfortunate part is you know, the 6-star EX doesn't really do anything for Garchomp at all, which is kind of sad. But it looks good. It looks good. I really like the design, right? And in my opinion, you should generally just go for design instead of, you know, which one's better or whatever, right? Speaking of better 6-star EXs, Metagross's 6-star EX is going to be one of the best 6-star EXs in the game, because you have AoE on Haymaker with like base once you get it up to 20, because you need 20 out of 20, right? 521 attack, 521 base attack on Haymaker AoE. If you guys thought like Elisa's AoE Sync Nuke was good, this thing is going to be something else, right? Yeah, 6-star EX Metagross is going to be an absolute monster. If you're going to like EX one unit, right, in the game, go for Metagross. If you're going to like just going to go for like one striker to EX, it's like Metagross is just, this thing is an absolute monster. Look at those stats as well, like 200 on both defenses. Damn. Yeah. Very, very good. So, as for the banners, here's the thing. The banner drop tonight. These are fantastic units. Do not summon on the banners yet. And I know some people, you know, when I say stuff like that, people always hear something else. You know, back in the day when Cynthia reran, I made a video about it, and then people were saying, oh, because there's people like saying, you know, both things. You know, people got really mad over that, right? Oh, you told us to summon on Cynthia, or the other people who say, oh, you told us to not summon on Cynthia. No, what I said was, do not summon on them yet, because we're closing in on a Datamined, right? All I'm trying to say is, wait for the Datamined to drop and see what's in there. Because Christmas is usually going to be a huge month for Pokemon, or for you know, gacha games, right? December is usually a huge month. Just wait and see what's in there first, and then decide. If there's anything crazier than this, which very hard to be crazier than this, right? Because this a dual, you know, Pokefair banner, and if they're gonna go with like split 1.5%, that's like a 3% chance to get either Cynthia or Steven, right? All I'm saying, just wait and see what we get next month, right? This banner is gonna go on for a while. It's not gonna, you know, go away, you know, right away, right? Be patient, right? Just wait until we see what we're getting next month, and then decide. If we get, you know, something crazier next month, obviously you want to go for that. If not, then go, you know, if whatever next month is coming is not, you know, that great, or if you don't really care for, then go all in this banner. This banner for new players, this banner is one of the best banners that the game has ever, you know, thrown out. That doesn't require pay gems. Like, I'll talk about select scouts where you could guarantee, like, you know, to pick one 5-star, right? But outside of those banners, this is the best banner that the game has ever given for new players. If you don't have Steven and Cynthia at all, you should, again, barring anything crazy comes next month, you should 100% go in on this banner, right? Or if you even have like Cynthia and Metagross at like 1 out of 5 both, right? Still go for these, because Metagross is not that great at 1 out of 5. Metagross becomes like Metagross is 2 out of 5 and 3 out of 5s. Each one of them are a huge jump after the other, right? And that's what it makes them great. Like 1 out of 5 Metagross is kind of whatever, honestly. Cynthia's much better at 1 out of 5. But I don't think 3 out of 5 Cynthia is as crazy as, you know, Metagross is. However, again, just wait a few more days. It's probably just gonna be like, okay, what day is it? 22nd. It's max a week we'll get more info on what we're getting in December. Just wait for December 1st, right? Again, if December doesn't have anything as crazy, this is the banner to summon on. This is the banner to summon on. This banner is absolutely insane. On top of getting like 3% chance to get either. Again, this is just my assumption. It might just be like split 1% as well. And even if it is split 1%, still not bad, right? Although if it's split 1%, it's not that great. If like you have like one at 3 out of 5 and the other at like nothing or whatever, right? Then it's probably better to go for one of the other ones. But if it's like split 1.5%, here's the thing: if you have like one of them at 3 out of 5, then it's not great to summon on this banner. But if you have neither at 3 out of 5, then go for it, right? Until at least you get one of them at 3 out of 5. Once you get one of them at 3 out of 5, you should probably stop, because again, these are split rates. It's much better to summon on like a solar banner in the future instead. But if not, again, just go for it, right? This is incredible banners, incredible units, right? Especially if you're just starting out, right? This is one of the best banners. So anyways, I think I got my point across on that quite clearly. So anyways, that's me for this one. I guess hope you guys enjoy. Let me know, guys, think in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video, so on the channel for some more Pokemon Masters content. I'll see you guys in the next one.